It was an ugly preseason performance on Saturday night. The Broncos made easy work of the Arizona Cardinals, picking up the pieces on a Monday. We heard from the head coach, Jonathan Gannon, plus a big piece of this offense in 2025. Marvin Harrison Jr. speaks, Johnny Venerable.
You know what, Bo? It's 4:30 on a Monday. Why is Clayton Tune still on this team? PHNX Cardinals starts now. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K 2.0. Presented by our friends at Circle K. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast. New studio edition. I'm Johnny Venerable. He is Bo Brack. This is your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Please like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. We are fresh off a dismal showing in Denver. We're going to talk about it. But first, my co-host, Bo Brack, producer Noah, how we living?
We're living well. Thank you. I appreciate that. This is PHNX Cribs. Let me show you around our new studios, our new humble abode. It's 3.0, Johnny. This is our third studios here. We're excited to be here. It's fantastic. We're excited. Every single one of you is here as well. T. Cleary, how about Biscuits in the Bear? Good to see you. Ryan Walker, Brian P. We got, who else we got in there? AZ, Texan, I love it. Shafts here. Dylan Richards has been consistently back. I love it. The entire squad. Kojad, Jacob, Tony B, Amadeus, Mr. Fat Gangster. How's everybody doing on a Monday? I know we're picking up the pieces a bit. We heard from the team. We got some reports from Josh Weinfuss, maybe a little bit of clarity on what went down on Saturday. We're going to get into all of it.
Yeah. Technicality, this is 2.0 Studio K. This is our third studio. Our first studio did not have room for Studio K because it was a broom closet. So moving up in the world here, everybody hammer the like button, subscribe. We're in a good mood. I hope you're in a good mood. How could you not be? We had a 2-hour halftime combined post-game show, Dumpster Fire, that you can go back and view if you're a big-time sicko. We appreciate everybody that tuned in for Saturday's game. But here's what I'm going to tell you. That could be the worst. The worst could be behind us because, well, Bo, are the Cardinals, because of their showing in Denver, planning on playing their starters on Saturday against the Las Vegas Raiders. What can you tell us?
We'll see. That's what I can tell you. That's what the head coach of the Cardinals said today, and Jonathan Gannon. We'll see. They're practicing a bit today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and then off Friday before Saturday. So I would expect we would know at the very latest on Thursday as far as what the Cardinals are going to do. There isn't much clarity as far as what's going to happen, how they're going to wrap up the preseason and the finale at home against the Vegas Raiders. And I don't know if Saturday is going to play much of a role. And I got the sense they probably know and for whatever reason aren't going to show their hand.
Why? How is that like? What's the benefit of that? Like I understand last week you wanted to see maybe how people performed on Thursday, even though it felt like Sean Payton knew before practice that he was going to announce for both sides that no one was playing. Again, that was bizarre. And then you got what unequivocally was the worst preseason game of the JG era on Saturday. Now, we have some added clarity to it. Before we get to that, I want to preface this by saying, like, I cannot watch 4 quarters of Clayton Tune this weekend. I won't do it. I will do it. I don't want to do it.
Right.
I know a lot of you don't want to do it, and it's in their best interest. Like, at the end of the day, you can be a lot of things. You can be underwhelming as a roster. You can overachieve. You can rebuild circa 2023. But what was our messaging? And I think this applies to preseason football as well, especially when you're at home. You cannot be unwatchable at quarterback. And it's like deja vu. We were having this conversation 2 years ago when they were thrusting Colt McCoy out there. And I'm like, this is not going to go well. you have to trade for somebody. And then they traded for Dobbs. And say what you want about Dobbs. Like, he was exciting. He could run around. He had a live arm.
Yeah.
What we watched on Saturday, and I'm a little bit concerned, Bo, now because we know, it wasn't Petson calling the plays and things were a little bit different. I wonder if they're kind of going to default back to, no. We tried some weird stuff, some kooky stuff Saturday. It'll be, business as normal come Saturday night at State Farm Stadium. What do you think about that?
That's a lot of hope, and that's a lot of wishing for things to kind of change drastically. I think it's just, hey, let's get this game in the rear view. Let's learn about let's let guys compete for the final roster spots, which Gannon said is as competitive as ever. And I think you're going to see those battles go down on Saturday. But what's kind of already been determined, or what we kind of already know, they got to figure out if they have any reason to play that on Saturday night and save Johnny Venerable, save myself and everybody in their eyes from having to endure too much of what we understand to be, or what we're speculating to be, a lame duck quarterback on his way to, a best practice squad and at worst looking for work. I don't, Clayton Tune, as I look back at the statistics, him and the offense mustered 1 first down in the second half. 1. I mean, going against third and fourth string players for the Denver Broncos, and they couldn't string together drives. They couldn't put together first downs. They had 1. They had 7 in the first half and 8 total. That means they had 1 in the second half. It's just not good enough. It's not letting guys who are going out there and competing for, trying to put together tape, whether it's to make this team or to go play elsewhere. You're just not getting the opportunities, and you're not getting the shots, and that's unfortunate. But look, it continues to be, and I said this Saturday night, it continues to be the organization thinking they're putting themselves in the best spot to start the season. And if that's the case, you better look really good when the lights come on in the regular season.
So I put this on Twitter. I did a little bit of a deep dive, just like you. So Clayton Tune entered the game after Jacoby Brissett departed. Brissett departed with about 3 minutes and 53 seconds left in the first quarter. Mm-hmm. And the Broncos went down and scored. So my guess is there was probably like 2 to 3 minutes left in the first quarter. The Cardinals from there with Clayton Tune had 31 plays over the next 3.5 quarters for 54 yards. They had 54 yards in almost a full game for a preseason game. And you mentioned the 1 first down in the second half. They had 1 first down before that, both of which, both first downs, you know how they were earned? They were earned via penalty. So the Cardinals did not get they didn't earn a first down with a completion, with a run, with a check down, with a screen pass, with a post route, whatever. The Cardinals had 54 yards in almost a full game played by Clayton Tune and had 2 first downs via penalty. You can't put that on this. I don't care if Drew Terrell was calling the plays. I like Drew Terrell. I don't want this stigma now of Clayton Tune's poor performance with this offense to be labeled with, hey, this is Drew Terrell's problem. I think it's just a problem in general. It's a problem in general when you got guys like, Xavier Weaver, who we like, is competent, and some other players out there. It's like, I don't care if the Broncos are the flipping 85 Chicago Bears. That is unacceptable. And then you look at this weekend, it's like, there are people, like, you want people to come to your game and root for you, albeit in the preseason finale. They have to be enticed enough to do that, and you cannot sell them 4 quarters of that. Like, I know you and I disagree on this. I will be shocked if both Kyler Murray and Jacoby Brissett don't play this weekend, at least for part of the first half. If Jonathan Gannon comes out Thursday and says Clayton Tune is going to play for 4 quarters, we're going to have a mutiny on our hands for 48 hours. People are going to lose their mind because of what transpired in Denver. It'll be a nothing burger in the grand scheme of things, but for 48 hours, it is going to be flipping nuts here based on what we saw last weekend.
I'm going to flip my crap over something that really doesn't impact, the grand scheme of things. I'm going to lose it. I'm going to be irrationally pissed off over something that has no impact as far as, the actual Cardinals go. Like, I like it. I like the passion there. I honestly have no clue. I mean, I think it is 50-50. I think it is a long layoff between like actual, competition that Kyler Murray could face if the last one he saw was on Thursday last week and the start of the regular season all the way on September 7th. I think that's a long layoff that he would benefit just to go out there, get ready, put the pads on and see about a series or two, and then get Jacoby in there and at least give us a quarter of competent quarterback play, which would include both Kyler and Jacoby Brissett. Because like what you outlined there, this was not even what we were exposed to, subjected to, that one final push before Kyler Murray returned way back when in 2023, where poor sacrificial Clayton Tune was put out there and up for the Cleveland Browns, who had a good defense at the time, to just feast on. And then he puts up historically bad quarterback numbers. This was against guys you've never heard of in the Broncos secondary and up front. This was not Zach Allen. This was not Patrick Surtain. These were guys that are going to be playing the UFL, that are going to be practice squad players, and they couldn't get first downs. They couldn't move the football.
They weren't even close. Like it's not like they were like battling for first downs. The offense itself wasn't a consumable product. I want to point this comment out by Daniel. This was our backup quarterback last year.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think both, our points on Saturday where it was like they tried to bring in a veteran in Desmond Ridder, and Desmond Ridder was so atrocious that they said
they brought in a guy whose resume was like, hey, fourth round pick. Hey, started some games in the NFL. This guy's got to be able to win a job. And he came in and he was atrocious. He was really bad.
So 2 years ago, it was the saddest training camp of all time. We covered it nauseum. We were just some sad boys on this podcast, but we did our best.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. I like a sicko on Sunday, I started to pull some clips and some highlights from that preseason. Clayton Tune was
what's wrong with you? You really did that?
Yeah. Clayton Tune was infinitely better 2 preseasons ago. I didn't look at last year.
Yeah.
2 preseasons ago, he threw a couple touchdowns. He looked like lively, was running around. He was inaccurate, but he has regressed. He has regressed as a quarterback. That's very unfortunate, and it's critical. But this is a business. This isn't patty cake time. This isn't family time. Like, you are paid to go out there and do a job, and he looks worse now than he did 2 years ago. So what do you do with that? I think you and I have been consistent with our messaging, especially as this preseason has gone on. I do not think I saw people be like, he'll be on the practice squad. Will he? I wouldn't do that. What benefit does that give you outside of he knows the offense and he can give you a look, but can he? To me, it's like there will be better quarterbacks available to put on your practice squad. So selfishly for Saturday, not only do I want Jacoby Brissett to play, I want Kyler Murray to play. And that kind of migrates into the conversation that you were touching on, Bo, of like, it's August 18th right now. I mean, 2 weeks from now, we're still, 2 weeks from now, we're going to be wrapping up our first, hopefully Victory Monday, right? Or is that 3 weeks from now?
3 weeks. Yeah.
3 weeks from now. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks from now.
3 weeks from Sunday.
Yeah. So 2 weeks from now, we will still not have played an NFL game. So you're basically going to go 3 weeks plus from playing a competitive outing against the Broncos in joint practice. It's too long. Can't do it. You need to play this weekend.
I agree. It's just it's important, and we'll see what the rest of the league is doing. We know what Denver is going to do. I mean, Denver is one of those teams that they're like, okay, we're going to get a rest for the starters. The important part for us this week was the joint practice. We wanted to square our ones off versus the Cardinals ones, and they got that. Sean Payton and both Jonathan Gannon, that they like what they saw. Like, we're going to shoot our starters in the preseason game. But, just tradition, like the last 2 years, and it's sample size, we just haven't seen a lot of Cardinal starters play in this. Like, it seems to be the most meaningless. But like this offseason, like this preseason, there's been a lot of tweaks. They changed things up. We saw Kyler Murray for the first time. We saw more than, Marvin Harrison Jr., who we talked to today, and he reminded us that, like, last preseason, he played like 3 snaps. He like put his uniform on, hit the field, like his toe tapped the field, and he was done. He went out there and he played a couple, 2 series. Yeah. Yeah. You didn't want to have potentially any Desmond Ridder hospital balls there, so we avoided that. But, can you go out there and can your first team that you're continually leaning into chemistry continuity, just go get them, just go have a business-like approach to this. And maybe, I don't know, maybe if like Pete Carroll says, like, I'm going to start my first team, Jonathan Gannon's like, you know what? We want this test. We want this final test going into the regular season.
Do you think, based on Gannon's comments today, combined with the showing on Saturday, do you think it's much more in play than it otherwise would have been? I do. I think if the Cardinals had a good showing Saturday, I think they ramp it down this weekend.
Yeah, I don't think Saturday has much impact on it. I think it's more of like, do they feel like they can get some work in? Like last week, you have to really think of it through the eyes of like Thursday was the important part. Unfortunately, like to people who like to watch this team and are all about it, like the game that you had access to was not the most important one. Thursday was the most important. Like the ones versus the ones, that was the work they did. And they didn't want to like ramp up Kyler and Marv and Trey 48 hours later for a game and put them in harm's way after doing what they did on Thursday. So I don't think Saturday has an impact. I don't. Like the biggest issue here is like, do you want to go out there? Can you evaluate your team properly, at least on the offensive side of the football, with a quarterback that seems reluctant to throw the ball beyond the line of scrimmage?
I think like if you're Jonathan Gannon, you have to sit down with your GM and just say, can we object our fans to 4 quarters of what we saw Saturday? And you can preach like, well, Drew Petzing's going to call the plays, and we're at home. That should benefit us. The guys were clearly emotionally drained from being in Denver, and we're in our building, and Clayton's had success to some degree in our building and feels more comfortable. And maybe the Raiders aren't as well coached defensively as the Broncos. Like, I could see them having that conversation. It's the wrong conversation, though. I think there are too many variables at play here where this offense, we haven't seen enough consistency from it. We're going to talk about that later. I think Jacoby Brissett, you put him out there, he's always going to look steady. I think, to me, it's like Jacoby Brissett can go out there for multiple possessions and give your fans at home optimism heading into the regular season. Just like, hey, we're a competent team. And then you put Clayton Tune in the second half. If you put Clayton Tune in the first half, people are going to be turned off by this product. Fair or not. This is sports. It's also an entertainment business, and you want people to come out and support what you're doing. Preseason tickets are not free, by the way. You have to pay for these. Like,
it's time, it's money. Yeah, getting out there.
The red and white scrimmage is free, so like you get what you get. Players sign jerseys, and Marv didn't play this year. It's like it's a free event. It's a great event. Preseason games with parking passes and consent, it's at least a minimum $100 day for a family. You want to watch that? You want to watch what you watched on Saturday at State Farm? I don't. Yeah. I think they will play all 3 quarterbacks Saturday night. I will stick with that prediction right now. Do you have a prediction for me?
Let's put it out in the universe. Honestly, I'm coming from a place of having no clue. I wish I had a better pulse of it.
Neither of us know anything.
I know nothing. Don't know anything. But I would like to think that they're not going to subject, for me included, being selfish here, in the press box Saturday night at 7:30 kickoff. Prime time. That we're not going to get a heavy dose, a heavy-handed pour of Clayton Tune. I can't. I'd like to think that at the very least we're going to get, Jacoby Brissett, but like Jacoby Brissett been so good this preseason. Like, what else do you need to see from the guy? Like, I can understand, like, now you're just kind of like forcing him out there just because you want to appease your fans, which is a big part of it. But it's like, these are the dress rehearsals. These are exhibition games. This is spring training.
Dear God.
Like,
I forgot it was on NFL Network. Not to cut you off. I forgot this game is nationally televised. It's their fault, though. You put a guy on your team that's regressing, and then you're like, he'll get us through the preseason. The hell he can. He can't. I mean, there are probably people who think we're being too critical. That was some of the worst quarterback
That was
play
his worst performance. That was his worst performance. Even the week before, like, at least he came out and he threw a pick trying to throw the ball downfield.
It almost looked like they weren't trying to they were trying to get I was sitting there with my dad and I was watching the game and he's like, it just looks like they're trying to, like, they saw Jacoby did his drive and it was almost just like, let's finish the game and get this down. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Then don't even play. Then don't even participate and play. Again, it's backwards from what they did a week ago where they're like, we're prepping, Kyler's going to play, we're going to do all this stuff. So I don't know. Does it get you nervous? Are you upset with the Cardinals, with how they operated Saturday night? We're going to break down our trending up, trending down. Plus, you're going to hear from JG and MHJ. That's coming up. It's PHNX. Man, Saturday was such a nightmare. But I'll tell you what is a bigger nightmare is when you look at your energy bill and it's like, what? $700? What? My house? It's 75 degrees. What gives? Well, if you are not with the smart thermostat game, you are paying more, point blank. Our friends at APS, they can help you out. If you're using the APS time of use plan, you can use your smartphone, your mobile device, adjust your thermostat to take advantage of those lower cost peak hours. They'll give you recommendations on the app, by the way. I've got it on my phone. Basically tells me, it's like, Johnny, crank it down. Now we need to level out a little bit. And I see the savings on my monthly bill. You can too. For every 1 degree you raise your thermostat, you could be saving up to 2 to 3% on your cooling costs. But what if you're not home? Again, no problem. Adjust your smart thermostat at any time. Remember, nearly half of the energy costs come from cooling and heating. Smart thermostat can help manage your energy bills. APS customers may be eligible for smart thermostats as low as $0 when you enroll in the APS Cool Rewards program. If you got a smart thermostat at home, see if it's eligible for the Cool Rewards, plus free installation is also in play. Got to be an APS customer. Shipping and taxes, other restrictions apply. Go to marketplace.aps.com for more info.
I got into the new offices today and I was blown away, mainly by the new setting that we've got here, but also, like, we have so many fragile pieces of equipment, from TVs to lights to cameras, and we didn't have one casualty along the way. That's because we have the unbelievable, quickly convenient movers that help you move your life forward, because they're going to be there all the time. It's our guys, 2 men in a truck. If you're moving, give them a call, 480-991-1805. That's 480-991-1805. Yeah, 2 men in a truck that are going to help you with your new beginnings, wherever you may be moving, whether it's offices or whether it's, a new home, a new residence. Congratulations on that. Let 2 men in a truck be the ones to get you started in your new beginnings. It's unbelievable. 2MENScottsdale.com. Log on to the website. It's the movers who care. They certainly added some TLC with all the equipment here. There was one issue here as we moved our way from one area downtown to a more swanky area downtown, I might say. It's fantastic over here. Check it out. For all your storage needs, visit 2MENScottsdale.com and learn more about their storage solutions and also their moving solutions. The movers who care. 2 Men in a Truck.
Everybody hit that like button. Our presenting sponsor today, our friends at Bet365. Never ordinary. Again, hammer that like. Bet365 is there for you during peak football season, even if you're like us and you're big-time sickos betting on the preseason. Neither of my bets, well, one of them, I had a 2-leg parlay plus 340. It didn't hit Saturday because the Cardinals, I don't know if you guys knew, took an L in that game. Cards money line did not hit. We're going to get to trending up and trending down like we do every Monday throughout the regular season, just a little bit. But first, Bo, you were in Tempe today talking with the head ball coach. The vibes after that game, I was surprised with how many players he was impressed with given the state of that game on Saturday.
It was a pretty short list still. I mean, it was like the guys that we had mentioned on the broadcast, I think, on Saturday. And if you look at kind of film, some people that you could pick up, it's like Jacoby Brissett, easy. Yeah. John Gaines. Yeah, I liked what I saw from John Gaines at the right guard spot. And then Jordan Birch for about a handful of plays. And that was about it. And then he went to the special team. So it really wasn't like him being over complimentary of a bad performance. Gannon was pretty forthcoming about that. Like they didn't like what they saw. They certainly didn't like what they saw on tape, and they're looking to quickly fix it. So like, I think he said Simi Fioco on special teams, Keaton Crawford on teams, who's known for his prowess there. Not much more than that. There was Whitley, who's a off-ball linebacker type that was on special teams. So giving it some flowers, but nothing too over the top for, let's be honest. There weren't a whole lot of great performances on Saturday night.
Interesting competition is the off-ball linebacker spot. We know Mack Wilson Sr. is the starter, and then like Cody Simon's not going anywhere because he was a 4th rounder. Here's JG on the heated competition in the middle of the defense.
I like where all they're at. I do like where they're at. I think it's a tight competition. 4th down goes into that. I thought Akeem had a good week. I know he didn't play a ton, but I thought he had a good week. I thought Cody had a good game. Owen's doing some good things. Mike Walker, Vi, is doing a good job. That's why I say that's one of the hot spots for me, honestly. And 4th down plays a factor into that happening too. So, there's a lot of ball to be played still this week with those guys, but I think Christian's doing a good job with them. All of them have now had green dot experience either in practice, joint practice, or the game, which is one of the reasons for the rotation, how it kicked out week 1 and week 2, and it'll be different this week, which was a good question by you after the game. But we'll see. We'll see how it keeps going. We'll see how it keeps going.
Cody Simon had a great spring. Learning curve probably a little steeper than we anticipated this training camp. He was in position a couple times to make plays on Saturday and had a tough night tackling. And again,
needs more tackling juice.
Yeah. Will it just come from a little bit more time with the organization? We figure he's safe. Owen Papo, not a great omen.
Late in that game.
That's what I was just about to say. Not a good omen. He's playing in the 4th quarter. I think Cardinals last year carried 3 off-ball linebackers. They barely played 2. I would say that Owen Papo right now, if you had to hedge your bet, is probably on the outside looking in. Just taking a guess here. Because, again, we talked about, like, they play guys like Baron Browning and Zaven Collins can come in a pinch to play that role.
Sure.
And you probably don't need a bunch of them.
The way I see it, it's Akeem Davis-Gaither's job. And then Cody Simon is the guy that you're developing. And, in the right spot, but still needs to make the plays. I just think that as far as Akeem Davis-Gaither, his ability to play teams, and then also, like you've pointed out, it's Mack Wilson. He's going to be on the field primarily, and then sparingly you see a second off-ball linebacker. So you don't have a whole lot of those looks. So we'll check that out. I think Akeem Davis-Gaither, it's his job to lose at this point, and then hopefully develop a guy like Cody Simon. And now there's not, like, after Wilson took the green dot, early this season and switched to Mike linebacker, there's less urgency to get Simon up to speed in this quick of a pinch. So it's really unfortunate. Like, I think you could probably get Owen Papo back on the practice squad too.
Yeah. Again, it feels a little bit like, I don't know. We hyped up that competition, and then they play such few sets with multiple off-ball linebackers. It's just like the devaluation of that position has been well documented across the NFL, and it just goes to show you it's crazy how frivolous the old regime would spend premium resources on a position that this regime literally is like, we'll take a guy in Mack Wilson Sr. that was cast off. We'll give him a decent free agent contract, and he'll have a great year. And then we'll get a bunch of day 3 picks and a guy who played special team for the Bengals to fill out the room. And Steve Keim literally was like, we're going to flush several first-rounders, including a top 10 pick, on this position that is just not the – Kazir White doesn't have a job today. It's August 18th. He was the Cardinals' leading tackler or at the position, had a nice year for this team. It's like – you talk about being behind, the curve. They were the opposite of ahead of the curve with Steve Keim. So poorly run. It's a big reason why, like, that's a microcosm of how ridiculously deep this franchise hole was when Austin Ford and Gannon took over. That's why it's ridiculous that people would sit here and say, like, they have to win the division or they got to blow it up. It was blown up. It was blown up. It was buried at the bottom of the ocean. They had to dig it out.
Akeem Davis Gaither, like, even I'm saying, like, it's his job to lose, like that big play to Ingram. Like, I think he was part of the break on that. Rabbit Taylor Demerson missed a key tackle on that. Like, that was a messy, ugly play. And I don't think he saw, like, the three of those guys, even though Gannon said it in the presser, like, he liked what he saw from Cody, maybe just himself getting in position, but nobody's grabbing a hold of this spot. No, it's unfortunate because there were a couple guys that you liked.
Yeah. Again, I think Cody Simon eventually will be starting, but it's not going to be right now, and he's got to earn it. I mean, the good news is when you're in position, you just got to finish. I'd rather you be in position and then, have a tough preseason game than just be like, where is number, what number is he? 50? Where's number 50? So that's interesting. Here's speaking of interesting, here's Gannon talking a little bit about Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. and their chemistry entering the season.
I am. I think it's further along than when we ended the year, which is good. I think it's further along right now than what OTAs look like, even the first part of camp. I like where that's trending. I'm excited about it. We'll get some good work here this week too on it.
Now, the context of that was just his confidence level and the symmetry between the franchise quarterback and number one wide receiver. I mean, what's your comfort level? We're going to talk about Marvin here in the next segment, but I mean, it's a combination that is really going to fuel the success of this team one way or the other.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at where they ended offensively and where there was inconsistencies, it was in the passing game, and it was a lot to do with that connection that they were trying to get up to speed. And now it feels like, at least within the organization, and you'll hear it from Marv himself and from their head coach, that it's in a lot better spot. And that's great. That's what you want to hear, especially when you can't really see that tandem outside of the open practice that we saw. And it looked fantastic during that. But everything we talk about, this offense that's running it back, from the coaching staff, the play callers, the playmakers, I mean, it's all the same. The biggest difference has to be that Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. take their connection to the next level. So that's good to hear. I mean, that's really good. It's encouraging to hear, but you want to see it on full display come, September 7th in New Orleans.
We're going to break down trending up, trending down, as well as Marvin Harrison Jr.'s comments. Drop a super chat. And of course, like this video. We're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers here on YouTube ahead of the start of the regular season. We're just 3 weeks away. Help us get there. Coming up with trending up, trending down. It's going to be a gross one. Stick around. I'll tell you what's gross is, sometimes when I'm on Bet365 and I get gross and I bet on preseason games like I did this weekend, but I'm going to do it this weekend. I'm going to have a bet, even if Clayton Tune is the starter for the Cardinals all 4 quarters. I know which way I'm leaning. Probably the under, probably the money line for the Las Vegas Raiders. Some would call that free money. Speaking of free money, how about bonus bets with our friends at Bet365? New customers get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. Again, all you got to do is use the bonus code PHNX365. Deposit a 10-spot, place a bet for $5, get $150 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, your bets can be spread across totals, player props, futures, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary with Bet365. You'll be 21 years and older, physically located here in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more info.
What are you doing August 28th? You got plans?
I'm partying with you and all of our friends.
That's right. We're making residency at Gila River Resorts at Wild Horse Pass. That's right. In casinos, nobody does it better. Achieve legendary status. You do you, and you do it with us. That August 28th. If you have plans, break them. Come join us. Hang out. We got the live show at 4:30. We've got the kind of the town hall meeting season preview, which will not be broadcast. It will just be there for the live patrons of the event. And then our fantasy football draft. Come join us and hang out and see everything that Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass has to offer. Of course, they got the 4 different locations: Lone Butte, Wequiva, Santan Mountain. Experience the best the Valley has to offer right now at the AAA 4 Diamond Resorts. Let relaxation take charge, and of course, the excitement of winning and playing those unbelievable games, winning money at the sports book, the table games. You do you. Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit play@Gila.com. That's play@Gila.com for all the details.
Everybody, like this video. If you want to get gross, it's time for Trending Up, Trending Down here on a football big time loser Monday. I have not seen, full transparency, Bo's list ahead of this. I hope he hasn't seen mine.
I'm really curious about one edition. I think I know what it's about, but I'm really curious to see what it is.
I think use your better judgment there. Let's get things going. I'm going to defer to my co-host. Trending Up. Let's see what you got, Mr. Slappy, from that weekend.
Yeah, let me carry some water for the team. Love the Jacoby Brissett performance. I know the first series we wanted to see more. It was a 3-and-out. There wasn't there, but we got everything in the second series. Jacoby Brissett goes, 5 for 5, 49 yards and a touchdown pass. Brissett looks solid. He looked the part of the quintessential backup in 2025. That touchdown pass, it went to my other guy that's trending up, Semi Fioco, the wide receiver who I think is locked in a job in a spot on this roster, coming over from the LA Chargers, embracing the blocking role and embracing the special teams role, and being this receiver when his number's called, that it can make a play like he did with the touchdown. So I'll take that from Semi Fioco. So those are my 2. And then Blake Gillikin, unfortunately, because there aren't a lot of positives, Blake Gillikin and his massive leg just bombing punts on Saturday. I think Blake Gillikin is poised for another solid year as the Cardinals punter.
Blake Gillikin looked like he's a Pro Bowl punter based on Saturday night. That's a 70-plus punt, 70-yard-plus punt. Cardinals have had such, sound special teams under, Jonathan Gannon. That's going to continue this year. Gillikin's fantastic. Chad Ryland could also be a part of that list, just what he was doing in the pregame. Jacoby Brissett, what more can you say? It's a great signing. It's the kind of signing this team needed to do last year and the year before. And I'll give you credit on Semi that, you told me 2-3 weeks ago he was going to be the 6th receiver on this team.
Yeah.
And it looks like that's very, very much going to transpire. The Zach Pascal of this new era, this unit. He's going to play special teams. And he's got size at 6'1", 6'2". That's what Drew Petzing wants. So, again, if you're scouting any potential free agent or draftable receivers for the Cardinals, as long as Drew Petzing's here, they have a type. And that was a sweet connection. That was a great ball by Jacoby Brissett. It was so aesthetically pleasing, that drive, because we have seen such few instances like that where the Cardinals are converting in the red zone. I'm going to get to that here in a second, but love your list this week.
Yeah, and I think a sneaky part of Jacoby's game is the sneak itself.
Yeah.
How easy was that sneak? They had Drew Terrell in this case, because Josh Weinfuss reported he's the offensive play caller. He's a madman, just like Petzing, and dials up a 3rd and 8 draw or run that gets 7 yards, and then it's 4th and 1, and Jacoby Brissett, all 6'4" of them, just falls forward. Easy push for 2 yards. It wasn't even close. So that was something we didn't see that looked easy last year at all in those sneak situations. And it just, the calm, the presence, professionalism. I just think that you got an adult in the quarterback room as far as the backup spot goes.
Brian corrected me. Simi is 6'4". I like to undercut people, and then by comparison, maybe I look taller, but yeah, Simi is 6'4".
Simi's 6'2" when he's actually 6'4". What's that make you?
That's so true. I'm 5'6.5". Am I really 5'4"? God help me if that's true. Everybody hammer that like. I like your list. And I didn't have any of those players on my list. I deferred to my co-host because we're going to get gross on my list. Let's go.
Yeah, mine's a bit chalky compared to what's about to come from what I've seen.
Let's trend up here on a Football Monday with my list. Let's see it, Noah. John Gaines. Impressed with John Gaines. I have not been the biggest John Gaines fan. He was hurt his first year. Last year, he kind of, was a little bit inconsistent basically last year was his rookie season. That's the best that he's ever looked, in my opinion. And had the hand snafu. He's going to start snapping the ball again. He played guard on Saturday. Like, he was one of the first picks in the 4th round of 2023 draft. Like, if he just develops into a 6 offensive lineman, some depth on the interior, that's good. Like, you think about it, Evan Brown, Isaiah Adams, John Gaines, and eventually Will Hernandez. That's a damn good, foursome at guard for this team. You would feel comfortable with all those guys playing. So kudos to John Gaines, the lone participant for the Cardinals on my trending up. And then Sean Payton. We've dogged Sean Payton a lot. He's spurned this franchise. He wanted a bunch of Walmart money. He got it. Bo and I, if you're big time sickos, dating back to the 2023 season we covered, 2022 season we covered, we were doing coaching search streams in November because long before Cliff was fired, because we saw the tea leaves. Sean Payton, we were dissecting whether or not he was wearing red on air, sending mixed messages. And then we laughed at him that first year in Denver when they got beat and they gave up like 70 points. Remember that game? But he's turned this franchise around. I thought their playoff berth, because their schedule last year was fraudulent, big time frauds. They look like the real deal. Their passing game looks just like it did in New Orleans. So I expect them to be a playoff team. Sean Payton's a Hall of Fame coach for a reason. So kudos to them. And then lastly,
Hold on. I just want to tell you, John Gaines, Sean Payton, I can see why those two have made the PHNX Cardinals trending up list on Monday, August 18th, 2025. Now, I see your 3rd edition here. And audio listeners haven't, but here's a spoiler. It's Dana Holgerson, and he's the current OC at Nebraska, but he's a long tenured college coach. Please tell me why the hell Dana Holgerson and what the hell he has to do with the Cardinals.
Dana Holgerson in 2022 and 2020, I believe, in 2022 won 10 games with Clayton Tune at quarterback. Dana Holgerson, as the head coach of the Houston Cougars, won 10 games with Clayton Tune. He got Clayton Tune to throw 31 touchdowns. Is that good enough for you?
Did he throw 40?
Maybe 1 year.
So you're looking at him as a miracle worker.
So here are the record by year. Yeah, I had this stat ready. I don't know why I didn't leave with it. Dana Holgerson with Clayton Tune from 2021 to 2022, they won 20 games in the American Conference. Clayton Tune threw over 60-plus touchdown passes. Dana Holgerson trending up in my book after what I witnessed on Saturday night.
He's since been fired. After Tune left, it all
fell happens.
apart. This is the most borderline, if not just straight up disrespectful things you've done on this show.
Did you know that's what I was going for?
Oh, yeah.
When you saw it?
I saw it. I'm like, has to be the connection. Because I've just communicated with Holgerson like during or post Tune getting drafted, trying to figure out more about him. So I knew the connection and figured that's really the only thing it could be.
Now it's a joke conference. They were 12-2 in 2021. Then
they're in the Big 12 now. Right.
I was just about to say. Then after Clayton left, Clayton and Dana got them vibing, and then they're like, "Oh, Houston, come to the Big 12." They've been 4-8 each of the first 2 years, and he got fired. So I could see Clayton Tune being a college coach with Dana.
Being his QB coach. There he is. Would it shock anybody like Clayton Tune goes the route of Cliff Kingsbury?
No doubt.
Very likable guy.
And again, it might seem like we're piling on. I'm not piling on. Saturday.
It's hard to play quarterback. It really is. Like Jared Stidham made it look way too easy the other night.
Hey, can I also say something too that it's not an indictment of this regime? They've had a tough time not named Kyler Murray, and now Jacoby Brissett and a little bit of Dobbs to get competent quarterback play out of guys. Now, some of them are just not built for it, like Desmond Ridder and Clayton Tune. They've had a tough time evaluating that room beyond some obvious names. And it does make me a wee bit nervous. It's let's say Kyler Murray underachieves this year. And then we go into offseason. It's Cardinals are going to draft a quarterback. It's okay, whatever. You would feel more confident with a regime that has showed you we've taken a guy in the draft and we've developed him and he's a really good backup. I think that was their goal for Clayton Tune. Clayton Tune's not going to see the end of his rookie deal, and he was a 5th round pick. So whatever, but anybody that can say, like, if Kyler Murray doesn't succeed this year, we go into next offseason, everybody's like, well, we'll just get somebody in the draft. It's like, I mean, Sean Payton can do that with Bo Nix and make everybody look dumb. And we were ripping.
You have to be right there, like it's within striking distance. Like, I know people are encouraged by what they've seen from Jackson Dart late in the 1st round, but that's such a crapshoot right there. Like, even Bo Nix, there's a lot of red flags. There weren't great performances in the Senior Bowl. You can say, hey, I feel confident in the pre-draft taking this guy. You're gonna have to take some guy that's got some question marks around it. So that was just the little appetizer. Trending up from a poor performance. We got a lot of trending down. Let's get into it on the other side. Give us some more time. Let's do that here, PHNX Cardinals.
Yeah, Dana Holgerson, it was an all-time money choice by your boy. I have to admit, Bo messaged me before the show, and it's like, what are you doing? I'll tell you what I'm doing for my livelihood is I'm hanging out with our friends at Monarch Money, because I'm not only making money choices here, smart money choices on this show, but in my personal life with my family, because Monarch Money named the best budgeting app of 2025 by the Wall Street Journal, Forbes' best app for couples. Again, if you're a new relationship, a new marriage, and you're like, okay, we want to get our finances in order. Again, Monarch Money gives your partner full access of the shared dashboard. Everything's analytically based, driven, accounts, budgets, goals, spending activity, all in one place with no extra cost, which is great. How many times you download those apps and they're like in-app purchases, right? It's like, this is a one-stop shop. It gives you everything you need. Again, no more guessing, no more hiding, no more. I didn't realize I spent that much on all my streaming services. This is your premier app, Monarch Money, to get your finances straight, fast, and ready to go. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use the bonus code PHNX, monarchmoney.com in your browser for first half off your first year. Again, 50% off. So again, you want to do a 365 calendar commitment. You get half off right now. monarchmoney.com, bonus code PHNX.
Perks right away. They're utilizing Monarch Money. You also going to find perks right away using My Style checking account through Mountain America Credit Union. It's the My Style checking account to match your lifestyle. You're going to get those built-in benefits. A lot of the checking accounts you find, they're just standard. Like, hey, we'll keep your money for you. And sometimes it's going to cost you a little bit. With My Style checking with Mountain America Credit Union, you can enjoy perks that with restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access, identity protection, loan rate discounts, and offers on travel and events, so much more. It doesn't stop there. Check in on the My Style, Your Lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle to apply. That's macu.com/mystyle to apply. Check it out. Memberships required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration activation. Terms and conditions and exclusions apply. But we love it. Go get them perks with My Style Credit Union or Mountain America Credit Union. My Style, Your Lifestyle.
Joey B just got notified on Twitter from our guy Jake. Joe Burrow playing tonight.
Joe Burrow. Is Jaden Daniels playing?
I don't know. But again, like, I don't like Zach Taylor. I like this move. It's like, hey, we know our team's going to be ass on defense.
Right.
Make sure the offense looks good. I like the vibes.
They're creating a facade. They're like, hey, we got Joe Burrow playing in preseason, but you know, when everybody else is not at their house, it's just complete dysfunction.
Everybody else saying in the chat that Jaden Daniels is playing. So,
oh, cool.
Cardinals need to play this weekend. Cardinal Stars need to play this weekend. All right. So trending down. So we went through our trending up breakdown, which was an all-timer, but let's go trending down. Let's be some sad boys. Bo, kick us off. We had a downer of a stream on Saturday. Keep it going.
The stream was elite. The what we were witnessing as far as the game was not. Let's get into the trending down. My trending down, Clayton Tune for a second consecutive week. Makes it. That's why he's got the 2 times by his name. Couldn't be worse for the Tune squad. It's really unfortunate. Like, we saw him week 1 of the preseason. We said that was bad. We saw him week 2 of the preseason. It was worse. Clayton Tune, like, you thought you couldn't trend down any further. Unfortunately, he has. I've got him there at the top of my list. Owen Papa, we talked about him earlier. He played a lot of snaps, significant snaps in the second half, and we continue to see not great performances by the 2023 fifth-round pick out of Auburn, who certainly has an incredible skill set, but just hasn't seen it kind of put together here under Gannon and in the Cardinals regime so far. And then Xavier Thomas, normally this is a guy that you like to see ratchet up the pressure, get after opposing quarterbacks, and they kept XT off any of the quarterbacks, whether it was Stidham or Ellinger, and then you saw where he can be exposed in the run game. XT, I thought, did not have a good performance, and when you look at the emergence of Jordan Birch, and you've already got Zaven Collins and Josh Sweat and Baron Browning, and of course BJ Ojulari at some point coming back, could mean bad news for Xavier Thomas.
I love this from Tony B because I thought the same thing. I thought Clayton Tune times 2 meant he was twice as bad. Like
he was.
It's just like, if I could list you twice on this list, I would.
It's like the my style double points. It's like you get double bad points today. Yeah, you tank.
F minus. We've talked enough about poor Clayton Tune. Yeah, like Owen Papo, I thought was probably the more productive off-ball linebacker of the group, and then Xavier Thomas was out of position a lot. Xavier Thomas was starting games for this team at the end of last year. That's how poverty their edge rushing group was, respectfully. So they've come a long way. But both those guys feel like, I think it would be probably a surprise for you and I if either of them make the final 53, because I feel like the Cardinals made a conservative effort to add players at those positions this offseason. Like, Team Davis Gaither, Cody Simon were brought in an off-ball linebacker, and then an edge rusher. I mean, who didn't they add? Birch. They re-signed Baron Browning. Josh Sweat, of course, a marquee addition. Like, I commend this team. Like, keep taking linebackers and edge rushers late as flyer guys, and let's see if one of them or a couple of them pop. But that's typically what like a fifth-round linebacker is going to look like. It's going to look like this. So, to me, not an issue.
I think you know what you have with XT.
Right.
You think like, say, hey, I need 54 to go in there and rush the quarterback. And you're like, I like what I see.
Yeah.
Like, I need to see 54 drop. I need to see 54 be good in the run game. And I just don't think he's got those abilities.
Yeah. We'd heard some like rumblings about him last year, and they loved his physical ability.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very difficult for them to get him to harness that and to say, like, with regard to like his gap assignments, like consistent with that. He was a little bit all over the place. Mm-hmm. And like, there are, not to get too technical, but there are expectations of like a defensive end edge rusher where you're not just pinning your ears back all the time. You have to be, one with the rest of the unit. And that's where he struggled, but they played him out of necessity. He had that great strip sack against Aaron Rodgers. So he has ability, but unfortunately, like, that's a position group that at the end of the day, just like the defensive line, eventually they were going to start adding like really high-end caliber players.
Thomas just reminds me of like a reliever that comes in and he just throws gas.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he just gets shelled a lot.
Yeah.
It's like he can come in and get you a strikeout here and there, but a lot of time, like, he's got this skill set, but it doesn't translate to good results.
Yeah. Speaking of bad results, let's go trending down with your boy. Let's take a look at some trending down. Not as
your bad signal.
Yeah,
not bad performance on the field.
I don't have a Wilkerson on this one, unfortunately. I tried to be creative. Red zone efficiency with this team, specifically the starters, is still a problem.
I think can I say this face value? No players specifically. I think you're getting soft
on trending down. I was giving you all the chum. I was giving you the player. Like, listen, I've dogged on Clayton Tune for 3 hours, dating back to last Saturday night. I'm not going to put poor Clayton Tune on here. Like, we know what's going on here. I'm going after the strategy of the preseason and what I've seen a little bit from this Cardinal offense. So let's start with red zone efficiency. Thursday was hit or miss again. This is a unit that struggled last year, consistently converting in the red zone. They're great with between the 20s. Hell, they were great in joint practice, Bo, converting between the 20s.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got into the red zone. Again, this team, penalties, they went backwards. The passing game was very missed as opposed to hitting. Show me a competent drive Saturday night at State Farm Stadium with the starters against Vegas where you go wire to wire and put together a drive that ends in 6. I don't care if it's Kyler running it in or James Conner or Marv or whomever, but like Jacoby Brissett having that drive, in Denver, and they were in the red zone and he had just a money throw. It's like, I need that. Do that with the starters. So disappointed in the red zone efficiency. I thought it would be better, and it still has a chance to be. Cards secondary is probably the biggest shock of this past week in Denver. They got absolutely torched, whether it was Thursday or Saturday. And it looked like guys were just having an off week. Garrett Williams got beat, enjoying practice. Will Johnson didn't have a couple great days. Denzel Burke started out pretty strong Saturday night and then gave up some touchdowns. Taylor Demerson was terrible in that game on Saturday night. So that's one of the best, deepest position groups on the team. Their defensive backs. Gannon is the best defensive back coach in the NFL, in my opinion. They will correct it, but they had a bad week. It was not a good week for that group. And then lastly, we talked about it. The preseason plan, it doesn't feel like a plan. It feels like we're a little bit all over the place, a little bit reactionary. I don't like the optics of Saturday. We've already talked about that. And then to sit here on August 18th and not know what you're doing, I don't know. I remember preseasons under Ken Wisenhunt, and it was rotating between Kevin Cobb and John Skelton, and it just had a disorganized feeling, as opposed to there are teams out there that are just okay, we're going to do this week, and then we're going to ramp it up and do this week, and then if we need to, we're going to ramp it down. The Cardinals are we're going to start our starters in the first game, and then we all assume, okay, and then they're going to play more in the second game. Actually, they're not going to play at all. And then it's going to be one of the worst games you've ever seen. So now we've left the door open to, so now what? Do you have to play them in the third game? They haven't figured it out yet, because last year clearly didn't work. Nobody played, and they got off to a slow start. So this year they've tried some different things, but I don't think they've hit a sweet spot with the preseason. I honestly don't.
I disagree with the reactionary, or that they don't really have a plan in place. I think they do, that they just they're playing it tight to the vest. And I don't know why. I agree.
What's the benefit of that?
That's where I'll agree with you. Is I don't get the benefit. What are we talking about? Preseason gamesmanship? I don't understand. Is it to kind of hide it from the players so they're going to get, solid performance? I don't know. I can't find anything that looks logical or sounds logical that I could say that makes sense to me. But I do think they probably, before the preseason began, knew who was playing, who wasn't. I really get that sense.
I can't believe they
match up with how crazy they are as far as the details of this organization.
Right. I can't believe, with how competitive Jonathan Gannon is, that he's okay with that result Saturday.
He's dead set on winning games in the regular season.
I know, but the Seahawks took this past week seriously, and they look great. I rip on the 49ers.
Let's go. Way to go.
I know, but I ripped on the 49ers, and they're out there and they're competing until the final whistle. They scored a bunch of points last minute against the Raiders, and Shanahan celebrating midfield with his arms up. It's I just don't love the optics of it. I have right, Mr. Fat Gangster, where is the fire in the gut? My I had a gut fire for a different reason Saturday watching that performance. I'm
going to get you some Pepto-Bismol for that gut fire.
I need some Pepto-Bismol. I need some Tums in the worst way. Yeah, again, if we fast forward and the team's 6-0 and everything looks great, it's okay, then you're always going to get the benefit of the doubt from me when we go into the regular season. But because the team has started slow each of the last 2 years, and I hate to even put 2023 in there because the roster was XFL level worthy, but they were not happy with how it went last year, so they've tweaked it this year. I don't know if you're them, how you could see enough right now to basically be we're in good shape. We feel great about it. And again, we're not privy to nearly as much as what they see. We've seen training camp, and then we've seen a couple preseason games. But if it was me, I'd want to see more. If I was Jonathan Gannon, I would want to see better play 2 weeks out.
Yeah. I mean, I asked Blake Gannon overall how he felt about the Denver trip. And Thursday, included, which was a big piece of this. They felt like they got a lot of productive work done.
Yeah.
I know it's tough. It's like that's what you were subjected to was Saturday. And that's overwhelming the audience, like of Cardinals fans and people who cover the team. Like they saw Saturday and they're like, well, this looks like crap. That's not the entire puzzle here that they're putting together. And Thursday played a significant role as far as how they prepare for the season. And you're just gonna have to trust. And I know that's like a big leap of faith here, but you have trust that they got that done because they've got footage, they've got film that they're watching from those joint practices, just like they are from the preseason matchup, and they're going to be in a good spot. Like if they feel like they're in a good spot, then you don't only have to take their word for it. As we venture into what time, Johnny?
Overtime.
Pew.
Thank God we didn't get overtime Saturday night. Am I right?
We did.
Oh, on
Didn't
the
we?
show. Yeah. What if they just would have played a fifth quarter in that game with Clayton Tune? What if they just played one more?
I think all of us are somewhere like actually stuck watching that game.
Yeah.
Still
in an indefinite void. Here's somebody who didn't play in the game, but is pivotal to the Arizona Cardinals' success this season. It's one Marvin Harrison Jr. ball that you had a chance to connect with, as well as the rest of the Phoenix media in Tempe today. Your takeaways from MHJ.
Yeah, talked to him about a bunch of stuff. Obviously, reconnected with Peyton Manning, who, of course, him and his father helped each other get to the Hall of Fame, win a Super Bowl together. Marvin Harrison Sr. It was great to catch up with him. And then wanted to get an update as far as where he is, how he's feeling with this added mass, with this added bulk, and what he's noticing from that. And this was Marv's answer to that.
I mean, I don't feel no different. Like moving around, I feel kind of, if not faster, and more powerful and explosive. I think at the top of routes, like, it helps me push off a little bit more, but doesn't really feel no different for me.
So he's really noticing it when he's coming out of his breaks. He's got more kind of power and strength doing that. Makes sense, right? So and then everybody's big concern, like the Twitter trainers out there were like, "Well, he gained 11 pounds, he's going to slow down." Like no, trainers out there have figured out how to add weight and keep speed, if not get faster. So he feels fast, feels strong, and it's great. I mean, the guy just turned 23 years old. He's going to be he's set up physically to dominate. Now, hopefully he gets the opportunity to do so. Started kind of deep diving a little bit more in as far as just his comfort in this offense.
Definitely. I know what we're trying to do as offense, moving around the formations a lot, playing different spots. So I definitely feel a lot more comfortable in the system.
So more comfortable in the system, which is good, Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, got to see it. Got to trust play caller.
Right.
I
do love the people that were like, "Oh, Petzing. This is all Petzing on Saturday," and then we find out it was Drew Terrell the entire. We unmasked the person that was at fault for the horrendous offensive performance, and
Drew Terrell appoints to reports to Drew Petzing.
Okay,
it was Drew Petzing's playbook. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, like I love that Gannon's trying to give his position coaches maybe potential future coordinator looks in a preseason game, but then we're all subjected to that, and it was rough. It was a rough go. Like how the Marv vibes right now are so hit or miss on the national level. I see people who are excited about it, and then I still see people that are skeptical. And here's where I'm at: is like I think the targets will be bountiful. And that's my number one reason why.
What do they have to be skeptical from?
I think
what was the last thing they saw about Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I think there are still skeptics who won't get rid of the separation stats from last year and the twitchiness that people think he lacks. Listen, I'm not a receivers coach. I can't break down receiver film. All I know is like his targets are going to go up. So I know he's going to be more productive by default. Like anybody sitting here and saying he's not going to be productive, like you just don't know ball. But did they take a receiver fourth overall to just get you 1,200 yards? Or you took a receiver fourth overall because you thought that player could be one of the best in the NFL at that position? And I'm not ready to move the goalpost yet. There is not a bigger jump. And we asked Monty Ossenfort. I asked Monty Ossenfort to his face when he met with the media a couple weeks ago about last year's draft class. And he said, year 2 is the pop year. They get time off. They're, as rookies, it's go, go, go from the draft to training camp and then the regular season. Like, so I am bullish on last year's draft class, and he is obviously the gem of it. So to me, like, my expectations haven't changed. And as much as we dog on Drew, or I do on this podcast, like, they're going to target him 8 to 10 times a game. It's going to happen, and it's going to lead to hopefully more engagement from him. And that's not a knock on him, but just like more of those crooked numbers that we see from the Neighbors and the Brian Thomas Juniors of the world.
A big part of that is his relationship with his quarterback. Here's Marv talking about him in K1.
No, not at all. I mean, I think the incompletions we've had at the joint practice, but not like the connection that we've had throughout camp. I think we've done a great job of continuing to talk, off the field and in between meetings or in between plays or what we're both seeing out there. So I definitely like where we're at. We just got to go out there and put it on the field now.
So the question was about misconnections to start the joint practice,
right?
From Theo Mackey, and that was Marv's answer there. He feels like way more comfortable as far as his connection with his quarterback. And then finally, we have Marvin Harrison Jr. He was talking about, what's the last part here?
Will Johnson.
Oh, on Will Johnson.
Great. Listen, great. I'm super excited about his future. Just, we kind of sometimes remember receiver meetings, just going back, just watching him and seeing his techniques and everything that he can do. So he's a special player for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Will had a tough weekend. He will live to fight another day. And guess what? Like Jonathan Gannon said, get better by doing what? By playing. I think he needs to play this weekend. Throw him out there. See how you respond. But yeah, back to Marv. I'm glad Theo Mackey asked that. I was standing next to Theo Mackey and you watching that joint practice, and Theo Mackey made several comments about the disconnect with he and Kyler Murray early on, and then they corrected it, and then it got better, and he had 4 or 5 catches to end the joint practice. But that's everybody's fear right now. Like, here on August 18th, I can tell you, I think the defense is going to be great. Are they going to have games like Saturday? I don't think so, because you're going to have Budda Baker and Josh Sweat and Calais Campbell, Mac Wilson, peppered in with a bunch of talented young and old players alike. They will be good, be a great unit. The special teams with Jeff Rodgers it's some of the best in the NFL. The offense, they can run the ball better than anybody, or better than a handful of teams in the league. Can the passing game elevate to the next level? I'm sitting here telling you, after watching 7 to 10 training camp practices and a joint practice and 2 preseason games, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know how anybody could. I think we need to see it. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. I don't know how much better it's going to be this year, though.
I do think that there are way more passes in the playbook that are thrown in the air yards, 10 to 15, 20 yards.
Okay.
Where before you saw a lot of dinking and dunking and checking down. Where I think there are plays that are going to stretch the field now. Like, as far as the big explosives, 20, 25 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards, haven't seen much of that. But and I know they, like, in the little sample size we got from Kyler, 7 for 8, you saw sprinkled in there 13, 14, 15, 21-yard gains last week, or this Saturday. Jacoby Brissett, when he was dealing during that drive, sure, he had a couple balls at the line of scrimmage, but the 16-yard pass for the touchdown to Fiocco. Before that, I think he had like a 13-yard pass to Weaver. Like, and Weaver caught the ball in open space and was able to get that after catching the ball about 7 yards out. So I do think that you're going to see an opened up passing game. Now, can they generate those big explosives? That's been such a big emphasis. That's going to come down to the calling them and executing them, and we haven't seen that for far too long here, and it's one thing you got to kind of reserve judgment on. Yeah,
I mean, I do think, like, the hierarchy of, like, the blame game, I think it's reserved for 2 individuals, and I don't think Marv's included in that. I've seen enough from Marv this training camp. He's been their best player. He was great in the joint practice. He was open. There was disconnect. It's Drew Petzing and Kyler Murray that that are going to lead this passing game for better or worse. They have they how many teams would kill for Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, and Michael Wilson? Yeah. It's like the weapons are there. The weapons aren't a problem. I get it. Everybody would love a deep threat. Most teams don't have a traditional one that's well-rounded. Like, I get it. That would be awesome if the Cardinals had that. But, I'm watching the Chicago Bears, who we dog on the show, Ben Johnson yesterday, throwing the ball up and down the field against Buffalo. No excuses this year. There's just
a lot of 12 personnel there.
I know, but they're doing it. The Cardinals can run 13 personnel if you're throwing it deep. I don't care. Throw it deep to Trey. But it's the number one thing to watch for this year. It's going to dictate their season, honestly. It's going to dictate their season whether or not they can do it. You guys, go ahead.
You're going right where I wanted to go. You guys, all these great super chats.
Yeah, you guys are dictating our show in the best possible way. Hit that like button. Let's jump into these super chats. Diet Cola, $9.99. Diet Cola, not great for you. Your super chat, very good for us. Man. In case the Cards are interested in Trey Hendrickson and Zaven Collins isn't enough, would the front office be willing to include somebody like D-Rob in a trade package for him? So we did a little video on demand, as we call it, on Trey Hendrickson earlier today. But, Bo, what do you think an ideal trade package would look like from the Cardinals to the Cincinnati Bengals?
You think they'll take like a 6th-round pick in Elijah Jones?
You know what? Ideally, yeah, that would be great.
No, I don't think you want to go much higher than a 3rd. And then, Rossini's reporting they want a player back. And I'm fine with giving up a player. I mean, I don't think they would want like a Zaven. You can't trade. I don't think you could trade like a guy like Browning, but like, I think D-Rob would be off limits. I think that's like, you're giving up a 1st-round pick. So it gets a bit tricky. Nobody comes to mind that you're just like, that both the Bengals would view as valuable and somebody, say like is going to make an impact for the Cardinals. I even think like Birch as a 3rd-round pick and the way he's performing, like you give that up, even though you're going to get instant impact from Trey Hendrickson.
Well, yeah, we talked about it in our VOD. Like Trey Hendrickson was a 3rd-rounder once upon a time. Birch is a 3rd-rounder. It's basically the same player, but does anybody like Birch is going to develop if this coaching staff sticks around? Hopefully, like Birch is going to develop into 8 to 10 sack kind of guy.
If this coaching staff sticks around, you're that.
Well, I mean, long
that down after this preseason game.
No, long term. Come on, smart ass. They're not going anywhere.
Math to the power of Joe, $19.99. Very generous, my guy. Got my diehard box today. Based on my recent experience with altitude sickness, it is very possible that a lot of our guys overexerted themselves in the joint practice and got it. Week 1 Cards are going to kick some Saints booty.
Yeah, I mean, I needed to hydrate while I was there. Didn't hydrate enough in Denver. Maybe I had some adult beverages Thursday night at the Rockies game. Had a blast. But when I had some glizzy boys. But no, I that's fine. You got to look good this week, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't look like Saturday. You can't look anything like Saturday night, this Saturday. You got to look like a team that's we can't wait to turn on in week 1 because the momentum and the vibes. And again, people can scoff at that. What was the number one takeaway that you had outside of Clayton Tune from Saturday's pregame show, Mr. Smug Mug, or postgame show? You said, a lot of contributors the Cardinals are counting on look terrible tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Demerson, all those guys that we feel like Will Johnson.
You need better performances as far as like an emphasis is putting the players out there that can change that. I'm a bit skeptical on that because there's no need. Games still don't count at this point in the season. Like there's no need for them to do that. You would like to see that so you're watching a better product. You just don't think that's a given.
Yeah. Dana Baltimore, $5. Great to see you, Dana. Why are Cards arm tackling around the shoulders and getting shrugged off? Shoulder into the hips, core, wrap, and twist. The fundamentals are lacking. I'm sure Gannon echoed those sentiments, Dana, in not such a polite way in the locker room and in postgame. So, I mean, Cardinals have had good tackling. I'm not worried about it. Again, why are we sitting here not talking about the defense? Because the defense was the better unit last year, and they've added a bunch of good players. They're not regressing defensively. Offensively, it's the same players from last year from a unit that we had a lot of questions on. They'll get it corrected defensively, though.
Keeping it going with some super chats. How about Jaffet? What do you think that is? Is that his name? Jaffet? I like that. $9.99. Thank you, my guy. Appreciate it. Organization is obviously confident in the starters, but it all comes down to Kyler. Can he pull off and carry us this year? He has everything he needs.
Yeah, I think it's pronounced Jaffeth as I've looked up the pronunciation. I mean, we're in a very pivotal spot in Arizona sports history right now because the Cardinals have the best like kind of homegrown team that they've had in 10 plus years. And we're not sure about the longevity of the most important position and how do they navigate that. If he's great this year, it's easy. If he's good, probably same course of action. But if he's average and the Cardinals are being held back by average quarterback play and ill-timed quarterback play, especially in the second half, at some point you've got to be able to have a sure thing there. But there is no sure thing at quarterback. That's why it's like I still believe even if Kyler does not perform to playoff level expectations this year, you can't just get rid of him until you have an alternative, because then you run the risk of becoming the Colts. You run the risk of Saturday night being the norm. It doesn't matter what you have 52-man roster outside of the quarterback. If you're loaded, you just cannot entertain bad quarterback play. So again, it's a big reason why, like, I know Jonathan Gannon loves Kyler Murray. He thinks he's a winning player. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt this year. We're going to be here every day and every postgame show. And if he doesn't perform, like, we will call it out. And he knows that. This is part of the game.
Yeah. Keeping it going here with the super chats. Brian R.
Read this one, Bo.
If I had to choose hemorrhoids and watching Clayton Tune, hand me the preparation H. Brian. I think the fan base is in agreement. I think the fan base is overwhelmingly in agreement.
Give me that hemorrhoid cream. Give it to me. B's $2.
Problem is we're not gonna have a choice, man.
Yeah.
One last. It's the last dance for Clayton Tune on Saturday.
I mean, we hope. Bees, I willingly subjected myself to 478 punt yards. That's right.
So blessed for every single punt yard that we witnessed. One glorious 70-yard bomb.
Tyler P, $279 Canadian dollars. JV trashed that Loveland pick. He looked good to me. To warrant that draft pick, Tyler, he has to be a top 5 tight end in the NFL. So let's see if he is. He can't just be good. He can't just have like 600-700 yard seasons. He has to be like Trey McBride and Travis Kelce and George Kittle. When you take a tight end that high, especially over like Michael Williams,
10th overall.
Yeah, Will Johnson, Walter Nolan, like.
And it's like, hey, I like this 2 tight end package. It's like he was 10th overall.
He has to be one of the best. That was my biggest reason why all those stupid off-ball linebacker draft picks made no sense, because then you basically say to those guys, Patrick, you gotta be Patrick Willis, you gotta be Fred Warner. It's like not even close. Not even close to that. It wasn't a smart pick by the Bears. I don't care how he looked in a preseason game. I'm sure he's gonna get his. Ben Johnson's a great play caller, and Jared Goff, Caleb Williams could use a good tight end. But they got Cole Kmet, he was getting targets too.
Yeah.
Just Chicago. We'll wait to see on Chicago, especially their defense.
Yeah. I mean, Chicago loving that preseason game. I mean, they're making Santa Clara
reservations now.
Yeah, reservations right now. They're going to the Super Bowl. Daniel is asking about Walter Nolan, Johnny.
Yeah.
The last thing we heard about Walter Nolan was on Thursday. You asked JG about it.
Yeah, I asked, how's he doing? He's doing well. He hasn't had any setbacks. We were told by a pretty reliable source he's not going to start the season on PUP. Mm-hmm. And I have seen every person in this media market, many of whom are not at practice, just assume that Walter Nolan is starting the season on PUP. So how would you like to respond to that, Bo? Do you think that there's a possibility that he is placed on PUP? Or do you think, as we initially reported, even if he misses the Saints game, they don't want to burn a month of practice with the 16th overall pick?
No, I think that he's somebody that they want to avoid that with. And as far as what it turns into the season IR, I don't think they want to sideline him for 4 more weeks after that, then have to activate and then ramp him up that way. I think they'd much rather avoid the IR and then he'd be on the roster, but maybe not be available early in the season, but hopefully as early as, week 3 or week 4, against some divisional opponents.
Yeah. I think you're just going to have to carry him on the 53. He's going to be practicing when the regular season starts. So you're not going to take him off the practice field just to do some roster gymnastics. So yeah, I think he'll be back. Who knows? Do you think he could practice this week? This was kind of the first.
I mean, I have no idea as far as that. I mean, they have to announce him being removed from PUP, and then he would be free to jump on the practice field.
This was kind of the timeline where at the end of training camp, before the regular season wrap sheet said he was going to start ramping it up. So it's either this week or next week that he can get some workout in, get some work in. So we'll see. Interesting week as the Cardinals navigate this last preseason game, as Joe Burrow is playing a ton of action tonight. Jaden Daniels had a rushing touchdown. So will the Cardinals follow suit, Bo Brock? It remains to be seen.
Love to see it. We love to see it. I'm not trying to be negative. I just we haven't seen it in this stage in the preseason. We'd love to see it Saturday night at State Farm Stadium as the Cardinals finish up pretty underwhelming preseason. Hopefully give some juice to what's going to be a huge pivotal season. I can't wait to do that. They're back out on the practice field tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then off Friday and going on Saturday. So yeah, check out Tyler P. I'm afraid the offense will be much of the same as last year. Hopefully I'm wrong, but that's the definition of insanity. Yeah, sure. Doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. But you've got a big expectation of a jump from Marvin Harrison Jr. If you look at the offense statistically, wasn't great in the deep passing game, but overall it was like a fringe top 10 offense. So supplement that with a jump from Marv. It actually looks a little bit better.
Yeah, I think that's what they're counting on. I think it will be last year's offense plus a better version of Marvin Harrison Jr. Is that enough with the defensive additions? Only time will tell. Drop us a like here. Get us to 500 likes on a Football Monday. Of course, subscribe to PHNX here on YouTube. We're running our Die Hard special throughout the rest of training camp. $36. We got to look at some of our newest merch, which we can't reveal yet, but super excited about that. And then, of course, tons of stuff at the locker, the ALLCITY network locker, like our touchdown tee, MHJ celebration. There's so much good merch that you can load up before the start of the regular season, Bo.
That's right. Don't miss out on any of that and continue to cash in on the great deal going. $36 for the entire year to get full access. Go PHNX.com. And of course, that exclusive member Discord. Big time show today, the fallout, as we call it. After the loss on Saturday night, what are we going to call this Saturday night? We'll figure it out. We'll start to ramp up, but we'll have the sights, the sounds from Cardinals practice tomorrow. Don't miss out on that. Follow along at PHNX_Cardinals. Follow Johnny at Johnny Venerable. Follow myself at Bo Brock. Noah's crushing it near in the new digs, new studios, PHNX Sports. Check out, if you want to get a glimpse of it, check us out on socials, wherever you find us at PHNX_Sports. Have a great rest of your Monday. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow, 4:30, right here, PHNX Cards.
We all silly like the mayor.